Alrighty, that's the end of row 52. For row 53, chain 1. This is an increase row. By now you know. Chain 1, single crochet, front loop only, 2 into the first, single all the way down, front loops only, and front loops only, single crochet, 2 times into the very last single crochet for a total of 71. And I know I keep saying by now you know, but yeah. Again, I'm tired. But we're coming up close to the end. I'll be done within the next very few minutes according to YouTube, but in reality, not much longer. Maybe, I don't know. I'll get back with you on that because I can't get to the pattern right now, but we are more than half done. See ya soon. Told you I'd be back in a few minutes. Okay, completed with row 53. Row 54, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And single crochet in front loops only, all the way down, total of 71 single, 71 single crochets for row 54, 55, and 56. Oh, and, oh, I gotta get up. I'm looking. Okay. Because I said I was going to look. I think I did anyway. So looking at my pattern, this is going to go to row 72. So, yeah, not too much longer. And we'll be there. I'm tired. But, okay, anyway. 53, 50, I'm looking again. 54, 55, 56. And I will meet you back at the end of that to begin row 57. And we're back. And I'm looking. Row 56, so 57. It's going to be another increase row, so chain 1 and turn, 2 single crochets in the very first stitch, 1 single crochet, front loop only, all the way down to the last, and single crochet 2 into the front loop only of that last stitch for a total of 73 single crochets. And I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. The end of row 57 for row 58. Chain 1, turn, single crochet, front loops only for the 73. Is that right? Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. 57, 73, yes. So, for row 58, 59, 58, 59, 60, it's the exact same thing. Chain 1, turn, single crochet, front loop only for a total of 73 stitches. And I will meet you back at row, I just said it, 57, 58, 59, 60. Is that right? Yeah. And I'll meet you back on row 61. Alright. Row 60 is complete. Now row 61, this is an increase row, so chain 1, turn your work, single crochet 2, front loop only, single crochet 2, front loop only, and I'm missing my front loop. Okay, let me try this again. Front post only, 2 single crochets, single crochet, front loop only all the way to the end, and then single crochet, front stitch only, not post stitch, into these two for a total of 75. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I had to look. So 75, and then I will meet you back. Alright, done with row 61. And for row 62, we're going to chain 1, turn, and single crochet, front loop only, into the next, all the way across, 75 single crochets, and that's going to go to row 60, wait a minute, 62, 63, and 64. And I will meet you back here at the end of row 64. And I'm back, and we are so close to the end. And I'm trying to get here. Okay. Row 65. Well, that was 64, 65. Chain 1, turn your work. Very repetitive, but this is our last increase row, and by now you know how to do this. You chain 1, turn, single crochet, 2 into front loop only, 1, 2, single crochet, front loop only all the way down, 2 single crochets into the last front loop only, for a total of 77 single crochets. Yay, we're getting there. Yeah, I'm sleepy, y'all. I gotta do something to keep myself entertained, and it's cool watching my hands on here. Anyway, I don't know. See y'all short. I can speak. See you shortly. Alright, y'all. We made it. We're in the last leg of the crochet, whatever, sleeve part, anyway. For row 66, you're gonna chain 1, turn, single crochet, front loop only from here to here, which is a total of 77 stitches. And you're going to do that for row 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. So yay, that's all that's left. Yay, happy fingers. And I will see you shortly, even though, yeah, it doesn't seem like it takes that long on YouTube, but I promise it does. I have been doing this, going at this all day long, since I can't tell you what time today, but it's, wow, it's after 2 in the morning, but I'm ready to get this done. Sorry for staring at the blank table, but yeah, I'm not turning it around. You can imagine how I look like. Imagine I'm pretty. Alright, I will be back. Yay! Alright, I'm back again. And with a completed sleeve. So now we want to do is look at where we started for the front and the back, and if you're better at this than me, great. I'm guessing front and back, but I know you want to sew this together inside out. Not inside out, outside out. Anyway, it doesn't matter right now. We'll figure that out later. No, actually we won't. We'll do that now because the seam got this side and yeah, the pretty side. I'm going with that. The pretty side is going to be the outside and the inside is the not so pretty side. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's this way. I'm hoping so. Inside versus outside. Okay. It looks almost the same, but this has got to be the outside because it's so much prettier than the other side in my opinion. So here's where we started and here's how I'm doing it, because I think this side is prettier than this side. So my outside where I first started, that's going to stay on the outside. So anyway, where I first started, it's on the left and my string is on the top. So we're going to fold this together. And I forgot to get my what do you call them? Stitch markers. Let me see if I have some over here. I hope I do. If not, I'm going to cut this back open. Yeah, I've got one that I could. Here we go. There. I just threw my stitch markers here on my table. So this is, anyway, what you're going to do now. I know it's hard to see. I can't get everything on camera because my camera doesn't zoom out any farther, I don't think. No, it'll go in, but not any farther. So anyway, this is what we're going to do. Take your yarn and go all along the side of it lengthwise, because you want to have plenty of yarn. Whoops. And then I'm going to take this. I'm holding it down with my finger here. So this is going to stay. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over it. So now I've got a lot more yarn. And because, oops, and I'm going to do that one more time. Holding it on the end. I'm going all the way to the end. And yeah, I think I'm going to cut it. Actually, I'm going to cut it way up over somewhere up here, because we want to make sure we have plenty of yarn to sew the sides together. And we're going to whip stitch that. So I'm going to take all this, make sure it's not getting tangled. Stick it in a ball over here for now. Get a sewing needle, and I'm going to go ahead and thread it. This is why I like my large eye needles. I just had to get some because I only had one. So I got two more. I thought I had some larger eye larger needles with the eyes in them, but I don't. Oh yeah, would have been smart if I'd have pulled it out first, huh? Yeah, so now I'm going to take my hook and go ahead and pull all this yarn through. Try my best not to tangle it. I'm still trying to recover from last night. Oh, that was a late night. But I'm so ready to get this finished. Well, that's a lot of yarn to pull through. But again, I would rather have too much than not enough. Okay, and we're going to now thread the needle. And actually, I'm not going to cut this. I'm going to keep it the same, but I'm just going to grab a different piece because it'll be easier to show you how to sew this on camera that way. I didn't think about that beforehand. So anyway, yeah. And I'm not the greatest at editing, so. And I don't want to be here all day trying to show y'all how to do this and me doing anything too much on camera. So anyway, I'm going to set this down for now. No, I'm not. Well, I am, but. So anyway, I'm getting this one out of the way. Let's see if I can zoom in some. Okay, and you're going to whip stitch where we sewed in half. You're going to whip stitch from one end all the way down to the other. That's why we need so much yarn. So pretending here, if you will, I'm pretending that this yarn that I cut is actually this, because this is how you're going to whip stitch. You're going to take this into the side and straight into the back of the side you folded it in over, and pull that long, pretend mile long string all the way through, and then go into the next, and you're going to pull that one all the way through, and you're going to keep going down and do that same thing over and over and over again. And that is the whip stitch. I'll take this out later. But I got these, my stitch markers, so that I can kind of piece this together. I can't now because it's so clumped up in there right now. I'm going to undo that and redo it later. But to keep it even, these two, you can kind of see where it's like 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. So look at the tops and make sure they're even, and wherever you're going to sew, hello, I'm trying to get it in here, you can put a stitch marker here, whoops, and then take another stitch marker, make sure everything is aligned, and put in another stitch marker, and so forth. Or what I'm thinking is also a good idea, let's go ahead and go down to the very bottom. Go ahead and put a stitch marker in the end of that, so you'll know exactly where you should be sewing, because I know it can get, for me, I'm like sewing right along on something sometimes, and then by the time I get to the end, instead of my project looking nice and even like this, imagining this is already sewn, instead of it going and it looking like that, nice and even, a lot of times, because I'm not paying attention and I get in too big of a hurry and I end up crying because of the end of my project, a lot of times, instead of it ending up the way that it should. My camera wants to be silly, and I'm goofing. But anyway, by the time I get to the end, a lot of times it's off like that. And if you sew it like that, you don't want to wear anything like that. Or if it's like that, oh yay, it's perfect. I did it. It's great. But then you look at the other side, and it's like that, where it's overlaid. And you don't want that. So anyway, I'm going to sew this up and make another sleeve, because this is why I did practice. I don't want my camera to stop. This is why I did practice first, because I'm not used to making clothing, and I royally goofed. So I'm going to have to make another, and I'm going to show you why, because we all make mistakes. So you can see, I'm going to do it this way, so you can see this is what I did. But I did do it correctly on camera. So I'm happy about that. But the very end, where we started off with our single crochet, it gives us a nice defined, you know, there's no raised here, there's nothing raised here on this part. But on this one, I got ahead of myself. And see, it all looks the same, if you can tell, because what I did was I read the pattern. I went ahead, I didn't follow instructions, I read the pattern before I started doing it and thought, oh well, let me just jump on it right quick, and I did. So on these first rows, we just single crocheted like we normally would, but on this one, yeah, I did front loop only, and it's all the same all the way up. There's no definition at the end, and I just don't want to leave it like that, because to me it just wouldn't look right, having one sleeve one way and the other. Nobody, I mean, come on, I don't want to be embarrassed. I want to be proud of my work. So with that being said, sadly, there, got my little cutoff string out. So yeah, I will be back eventually again. So go ahead and make your 2 sleeves, and I will meet you again later. Thank you. Alright, not sure where I'm at right now. So we have everything made except pockets. Very, very easy. We're going to, what is this called? Slip stitch. Y'all, I am out of it, and I'm trying to hurry, because I've got a lot to do, and I've done a lot today. But anyway, chain, got our slip stitch, chain 26, 1, 2, 3, 4, anyway, yeah, chain 26, and I'll be right back. Okay, 26 chains complete, and we're going to single crochet into the second chain from your hook, 1 single crochet, and single crochet all the way down in each chain for a total of 25 single crochets, and I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, that is completed. That is row 1. The end of the row, yeah, I'm kind of pulling it a little bit so it won't be too you know, twisty. Okay, so at the end of your row, you're going to chain 1, row 2, chain 1, turn, single crochet into front loop, same as before, front loop only, into the next, and you're going to do this for a total of 25 stitches across. And then on row 3 to 17, you're going to do, well, basically the same as before, all the way down until we have 25 stitches. Be right back. So this is the end of row 2. This is my last one. So that's 25. Row 3, chain 1, turn, and single crochet into the back, and you will have a total of 17 rows. So just keep repeating this. Chain 1, front loop only, and this is row 3 that I'm doing now. So whenever I complete my last row, 17, I will be back and we will continue the pocket from there. Alright, I'm back. I'm trying to get everything together here. So row 17 is now completed. For row 18, we are going to chain 1 and turn. And now it gets a little tricky. Not bad, but just tricky. So for row 18, we are going to slip stitch into the front loop only. Slip stitch. And front loop on the next one, slip stitch. And you're going to slip stitch all the way down. For row 18, chain 1, turn, and do the same thing again. So that's going to be for this row, which is 18, 19, 20, 21. Whenever you're done with that, you're going to want to leave a long tail for sewing. And I will, again, be back later. Yeah, I'm back already. That was quick. I know. But one thing that you should remember whenever you're doing your slip stitches, slip stitch loosely, because what's going to happen, we're going to pretend I'm done with row 18, chain 1 and turn, and slip stitch into the front loop only on this one also, which is, you know, slip stitch. But what's going to happen is if you slip stitch too tight, you're going to have a real, I mean, it's hard for me to slip stitch anyway, but if you slip stitch too tight, then it's just going to be hard to get your hook down in there, and you got to fight with it. So yeah, just do it loose, not like too loose, but yeah, loose enough where you can get your hook in those stitches as easily as possible. And again, you're going to do this for row 18, 19, 20, and 21. Yeah, it's kind of tedious to do, in my opinion. This first row, I'm not having such a hard time with it, but it's kind of frustrating as you go. It's actually easier now that I'm doing it this way. I'm kind of holding it in the air doing it. I'm not holding it in my lap or anything. It's a lot quicker. It's straining on my back, but it's going a lot quicker than what it usually does whenever slip stitching. So anyway, I will meet you back later where I'm not sure if I'm going to be in a different room or not, because I don't have much room in here to do it. But anyway, I'm going to show you how we're all going to piece all these pieces together, if you haven't already. Oh, well, you've been with me this long. I just completed the row without even meaning to or realizing. So, chain 1, turn, and that was row 18, so 19. We're going to slip stitch, front loop only. See, if I'd done this any tighter, I would be having issues, and it's still not easy to get into where I already slip stitched. And yeah, I see here where I didn't. I messed up. I got to frog that because obviously that's where I was showing, and I made a chain 1 and turn where I was pretending. So yay, at least it's easy to frog. So anyway, yeah, I'll be back. Yeah. I just don't want to stop now that it's so easy to do this, now that I already have my holes big enough to do, and after I frogged it all. So anyway, yeah, I'll meet you back later, and then we'll piece it all together. And I probably should have sewn things together instead of doing it all at the very end, and I could have and should have and would have, but I have to be able to record whenever I can. So there's my chain 1 at the end, and slip stitch into the very first one for a total of 25 at the end. And this time I will meet you back later. Okay. Okay, this is what it looks like. I had to lay this across my big quilt, whatever thing for the bed. Anyway, now that we have all of our pieces made, yeah, mine's huge. I should have went with the smaller hook. But what you're gonna do now is, same as before, you're going to whip stitch across the top. You're going to whip stitch across the top to get both the panels on. I'm walking over to this side. Whip stitch from here all the way down, but leaving a hole for your arm to go in. Trying to get everything straight in here. Excuse my mess. But right here, if I can move it right here, what we're going to do is count from here to here to make sure we have enough space for the arm, because you don't want to sew that up. So for mine, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I can't see with white, and this is at a distance from me. Let me go up the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 times 2 is, I don't know off the top of my head. 17 times 2. Yeah. 17 times 2. Okay, if I did my math right, then 17 times 2 is 32. But what I'm going to do anyway, to make it easier, because I know me, once I get started, I'll be like, this is taking forever, and then I'll end up going up the arm. So what I'm going to do is whip stitch across these two first. Well, not across, but you know what I mean. I'm going to whip stitch this and whip stitch that, and then what I'm going to do is place something here so I won't forget. Oh, one thing I did forget, how to lay them out. What I did, because this is the inside, we're going to do this backwards. So to make sure that your pieces are correct, the wrong side will be coming out of where you started each and every row. Not finished, but started. Your foundation chain row right here on the bottom. This is going to be coming out the right, your tail. Okay? And see, there's no tail on this end. And on this end, it's coming out the right hand side and the right hand side. So this is the this is the inside. Just make sure that your foundation chain rows are facing the same way. If you don't really care because they look the same to you, facing to the right, facing to the left. And for your sleeves, once you get your hole here not sewn up, because your arm's got to go through here, this is the side where we did that whip stitch. See, and I still have that out. I haven't sewn that in. And that is on the bottom. So let me come out here. See? That is on the bottom. Your seam will go on the bottom. Because if you look at your shirt, okay, this is a really, really short sleeve shirt, but it's what's available. But if you look at your t-shirt or whatever shirt you're wearing, if it's not sleeveless, and you'll see here at the bottom is where your seam is. This is the top where your shoulder is. And I'm zooming the wrong way. The top where your shoulder is doesn't have a seam, but under your armpit. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, final step. Get everything sewn together and sew all your tails in, which I thought I did, obviously not. And cuff your sleeves. Oh, and the final step, I decided not to, is to sew your pockets on and sew everything in. And for the final, I ran out of enough yarn to do it with, but your final step will be to start on the edge, chain 2 and half double crochet all the way around the back to, oops, to here. I was wondering where my camera went. So all the way around to the back, not so, half double crochet all the way from this side to here, keep going, and then half double crochet all the way up around the back of the neck, down the side, and then meet back here and slip stitch the end and sew the final piece in. But like I said, I don't have enough yarn left to do that, and I have a lot that I've got to do. I'm planning on painting my living room, and I have to finish dumping out my dining room to get it all cleaned, and yeah, I've got a lot to do. I've got things to do in the bathroom. I mean, it's just a never-ending job that I have to do because I want to get done on all my house stuff so that I can get back to crocheting. But yeah, you don't have to cuff it up the way I did. You can double roll it or however you want to, because it's going to be big and you're going to definitely want to roll your sleeves up. But I am pleased. And I will see you guys in another video coming soon. Have a good day. God bless you all. Bye.